Okay, so today I have a bunch of planting to do in my garden. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I wasn't feeling super great, and it really hasn't been a great week overall. Actually, we're gonna dodge that thought. I thought I'd take you to the garden with me today, get out of my bedroom, and just dig in the dirt together. Home gardening, if you are able, is a really great way to reduce your impact on the planet and save you money, and I personally enjoy it a lot. So let's do this. So the plan for today is to get caught up on what I haven't planted yet. I've got everything in this bed except for the peppers, so I need to do those today. I need to add some potatoes to this bed, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the basil today. I kind of want to let it chill inside a little bit longer. But the main thing actually is going to be interspersing some marigolds throughout. Marigolds are a really great way to attract pollinators and deter pests, and they're just pretty. So I'm gonna put them in amongst the veggies. Oh, and also, since this is probably just gonna be a lot of time lapses of me digging in the dirt, I thought I'd put in some voiceover bits about how this pandemic is affecting rural smallholder farmers in developing countries, because A, that's a lot of what I studied in my degree. B, there's been a lot of good information about that coming out lately. And yeah, I don't think it's something that we've been talking about so much because we've been so focused on our own communities, which is totally fair, because this is weird. We're in a weird situation. But yeah, I'm gonna throw in some voiceover stuff because I wanna. Can't stop me. And before you say, but Jessie, your soil looks like crap, it's so light and has no organic matter in it. Yes, I know. I did that on purpose. I was reading up about some different lasagna gardening techniques, and for those of you that don't know, lasagna gardening is just basically where you build up your beds by interspersing layers of carbon-rich and nitrogen-rich materials. And yeah, I was reading a thing about how if you put the top layer with crappy soil, essentially, it encourages the roots to grow down into the bed instead of spreading outward in their initial phases. So that's what I'm trying this year. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's why this top layer of dirt looks so crappy. Okay, hi, future voiceover Jessie here. So when all of this started, I joked around a little bit about making sure I got my vegetable garden started on time in case we had to go into zombie apocalypse style survival mode. But for a lot of people in developing countries, that's really not far from their current reality. The COVID-19 pandemic has really exposed the underlying risks, fragilities, and inequalities in our global food systems. Many people in developing countries rely on informal and open-air markets, which have shut down recently, leaving them with no access to food. For farmers, their sales outlets have disappeared overnight. All over the world, farmers are amongst the poorest, with 50% of farmers living below the poverty line in many countries. Even in France, 30% of farmers earn less than one-third of the country's minimum wage. This not only affects their income, but also their health, especially as the poor are more likely to be malnourished in the first place. Additionally, many poor farmers don't have enough money to bulk purchase foods. They must take the additional risk of making frequent trips to the market. The pandemic is also making it increasingly difficult to harvest. For example, in Pakistan, around 70% of small farmers rely on migratory laborers who can no longer travel. For those farm laborers who can work, many working environments do not follow social distancing guidelines, and protective equipment is lacking, making that population even more vulnerable. Okay, I'm very happy. We've got our 2 new pepper plants in the ground. We've got garden salsa and red beauty. We've got a couple marigolds interspersed, and we've got some broccolis and lettuces and carrots growing over here. For those of you that are wondering what this is, we're also trying something called keyhole composting this year. It's basically like a very low maintenance type of composting where you just put your stuff in this hole that I've created with chicken wire as you go, and the nutrients in theory leach out into the soil underneath, encourages the roots to grow down instead of across. So yeah, we're trying that, seeing if it works. And then over here we've got lots more marigolds.
Got a couple tomato plants. This one's actually a tomato plant from last year, which is why it looks so sad because it barely survived the winter. But it does have a little red tomato, which has been growing since like January. So we're hoping we can keep this guy alive through the summer and we can get some more tomatoes out of it. And then this is also a tomato plant. And then here are all my lovely garlics. Oh yeah, lots of garlic. And then over here is where the potatoes are gonna go in. These are old beans that are now done and dying, and they fixed lots of nitrogen in the soil, hopefully, and now there's potatoes in there that are gonna take their place. So yeah, these are just some poppies that managed to squeeze their way in. Also, if you're wondering what the white hoops are for, thus far they were for nothing, but I'm going to try and fix that today with this trellis netting I got. The idea is to attach this to the hoops with binder clips so that the cat and other pests, but mostly the cat, can't get into the vegetable beds and ruin them.
Okay, back to voiceover Jessie. All of these things really highlight the need for agroecology approaches that are localized and resilient against global supply chain shocks. Agroecology involves shifting away from the industrial style agriculture with rows and rows of the same crop that we're used to seeing and towards a more diverse ecosystem approach, which uses different plants and animals to regenerate soils and fight pests rather than chemical fertilizers and pesticides.
Okay, this is honestly working way better than I thought it would. I definitely need more binder clips, or maybe I'll reuse some twist ties to secure the back since those don't need to be like removable for when we want to get in there, but I'm pretty pleased so far. Also, a secondary purpose of these hoops will be when it gets a bit hotter is to put like a shade cloth over instead of the netting, because it gets pretty hot and sunny here and we don't want our plants to die when it gets too hot. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my garden. I hope the voiceover I have yet to record is interesting and you learned something. But yeah, that's all for today. Bye. Kids, say bye. Say bye. Good girl.